All right, hello boys and girls. This week we started a new unit and we're learning about buildings. Today's story is called Buildings, 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 and it's going to talk about a lot of different buildings, maybe what they're made out of, what people do inside of the buildings. This is by Judith Bauer Stamper. On the front here we have a building and it says Public Library. It's where you go to get books. What is a building? A building is a place that shelters people or things. Your community is full of all kinds of buildings. They provide a place for people to learn, work, shop, travel, or play. So each building serves a different purpose. You learn in a school building. A school can be big or small. You go to different school buildings as you grow up. Let's look inside. So some of you go to school right now. Some of you are learning online where your teachers are out of school teaching you still. I'm at school right now and I'm making this video. So you're still learning at school, just different. Libraries are built for learning too. One thing all libraries have in common is lots of books. Let's look inside. And here is the library right here. It's the librarian. She works at the front desk and you bring her a book and she checks it out. You get to read the book and then you bring it back. Usually people have a library card so they can check out books. Ooh, I bet a lot of you are gonna know where this place is. You can shop for food in a grocery store. A grocery store can be a little shop on the corner or a huge supermarket. A big supermarket's a place like Meijer or Walmart. Let's look inside. You can see people are grocery shopping here. They have a cart, they're looking down the aisle with all the food right here. I'm sure a lot of you go shopping with your families. A post office is a building where workers send mail all over the country and the world. Big post offices in large cities handle millions of pieces of mail each year. Even a small town post office handles mail in large numbers. Let's look inside. This is a pretty big post office right here. Some of you might have a smaller post office in your town. But here's the inside. Here's all the clerks up here where you can turn in your mail or your packages to send out to other people. Over here, a little cubby. Some people use a P.O. box. They have a box and not a mailbox at their home where they get mail. That's where mail comes in and goes out. Hospitals are buildings where doctors and nurses work. Hospitals have patient rooms, operating rooms, recovery rooms, and rooms full of special equipment for saving lives and treating diseases. Inside a hospital, this little girl being taken care of by a nurse or a doctor right here. Yeah, see her stethoscope right here and she's holding her hand. So the hospital serves many purposes, but their number one thing is to get people in there safely and get people out safely. They treat people. They try to make them feel better. Adults go to work in many different types of buildings. A huge office building has many small offices inside. A factory has large rooms with machines. Factories make everything from cars to toys. Let's look inside. So right here is a building and that has small offices inside where people sit and they work. And inside a factory there's big machines and they build things. They might be toys or they might be making things like cars. They need a lot of space for that. There are special buildings where journeys start and end. In airport, passengers get on and off planes at big buildings called terminals. Trains and ships have terminals too. Let's look inside. So if people want to travel, like in a plane in the sky, or they want to go on a train on the tracks, or they want to go on a boat, they have to go somewhere where they have to punch in their ticket and they bring their suitcases and they go through terminals. They go through these little lines and it tells them where to go based on where they're traveling. These places are usually pretty big. Do you like sports? Millions of people do. Cheering fans pack basketball arenas, ballparks, football stadiums. Let's look inside. These are the big places where people like to watch sports. A lot of people probably watch them right on TV. Some people actually go to the games and they get to watch them in the crowd. Some buildings were made for sharing beautiful art and music. Artwork is like paintings. People hear music in concert halls. That's where people sing or they play instruments. They look at art in art museums. The buildings can be beautiful too. So a museum is where you go to look at arts or artifacts, special things that have been made by people. Our country celebrates its history and heroes with buildings that are monuments and memorials. The Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C. honors President Abraham Lincoln. These are all in Washington, D.C. in a different state. People come from all over the world to look at these historic buildings. Miss Katie has seen both of these buildings. I've been to Washington, D.C. before. And I got to see these buildings. They're very cool. Every building has a special job. Can you guess what these buildings do? So right here is a long tower looking building, and shining out of it is what is that? It's like a light, yeah. This is a lighthouse. A lighthouse's job is to shine light onto the water, like onto the seas or lakes, so that way boats can find land. Right here, what do you think this is? It's a farm, like old MacDonald had a farm. And here is where they have animals inside and they live on the farm. And right here, do you know what this last one is right here? It's a gas station. We know at the gas stations, cars have to stop to get gas when they run out so they can drive. The end. That's a pretty cool story, boys and girls. I hope after this you can go over it with your families. You can talk about all of the buildings that you've been inside or maybe ones that you want to go visit someday. Bye-bye.